What's going on there, friends and neighbors? I'm ShinRobjira, and today I'm going to be posting a very late, thoughts and opinions on Godzilla Day.
ShinRobjira.
So Godzilla Day this year was absolutely enormous. We got so much content out of it, and the fact that I'm talking about it 4 days late is, I'm sorry. I really wasn't planning on making a video, honestly, because I post all of the news and stuff in my community section. But with the exception of 3% of you, y'all wanted thoughts and opinions on the whole shaboozle, so let's just get started. So up first, we have the shorts. We have Godzilla vs. Gigan Rex, or GXG, I think it was. And then we have Gigan vs. Godzilla, or Godzilla vs. Gigan, the tokusatsu version. And I'm not going to show any pictures, I'm not going to show any footage, because it seems like a lot of people are having trouble with Toho, be it with their reactions or just discussing it, so I'm going to keep this very brief. Showa Gigan versus Final Wars Godzilla, the tokusatsu event, that was honestly really cool. The new Gigan suit was... The characterization of Gigan was honestly perfect. When his little forehead nipple just totally shorts out and he's like, huh? What the fuck? Godzilla himself in the short was awesome. It was cool seeing him get, you know, a little messed up by Gigan with the cuts on his face and on his chest and such. It was fun. They definitely brought the bar up from Godzilla vs. Hedorah from last year, so I look forward to seeing more of those Suitimation tokusatsu shorts from Toho. They're doing a very good job with it. And honestly, I wouldn't mind if that turns into like a regular thing, if at like the end of every month or every few months or something to that extent, we just get a new one, or even if they just keep it as anniversary specials. I like that, Toho. Keep going. Now, in regards to Godzilla vs. Gigan Rex, this is the epitome of awesome. Gigan kind of being turned into a species, or, I mean, they're all robotic, so I don't know if I could call them a species, but Gigan being a horde with a clear leader is a very awesome concept, and I love the design of Gigan and Gigan Rex. It's perfect. All the new and cool, interesting things that they did with Gigan's design, that's the kind of stuff I'm looking for in the Godzilla franchise overall. I would love to see drastically new takes on Godzilla and his rogues gallery. And I forget the name of the studio, the gentleman or lady who actually directed and animated all of that, but my hat's off to you. You started out as a fan project and then you got funded or sponsored by Toho, and now your product has figures. That's cool. That's awesome. I'm so happy for them, and I hope this is something that Toho decides to do a little bit more of as well. The Godzilla fandom on either side of the world, all over the world, is extremely talented when it comes to stop motion animation, when it comes to animation, when it comes to making their own suits, when it comes to just making their own short films. Toho kind of dipping their toes into the fandom and finding something that they're very much happy with enough to sponsor and or purchase and or, you know, support. That's awesome. And I hope that eventually carries over into the whole YouTube verse thing, because it would be nice to show footage, or in some people's cases, screenshots of these movies that we all love so much and not get reamed on YouTube. Toho. So when it comes to the two shorts, if I had to rate them, I mean, I enjoyed them both immensely. They both did things that I'm familiar with and very new to. I love them both equally. I'd give them both 3 solid stars. Animation, suitimation, paint detail, the whole 9 yards. So next, we have to talk about the figures, the merchandising, and I'm going to go over every little bit of it. Okay, maybe not. Let's go over the things that immediately interest me. In all seriousness though, Toho held nothing back in terms of merchandising. A lot was shown off, a lot was released, and I really like that. I hope that becomes a normal thing for Godzilla Day. I mean, I don't like that I spent however much I spent on all the stuff they announced, but to have a major event like that and to showcase more than just like 2 or 3 friggin' figures that the general public is going to be interested in, that's awesome. Keep doing that, Toho. First up, we have the 50th anniversary Jet Jaguar and Megalon icon reveals that they did. Pretty much confirming that next year will be the year of Jet Jaguar and Megalon, and by the grace of God, I hope they handle those two better than they did Gigan. Because in terms of merchandising, I mean, at least on my front, I got a badge, a keychain, and I got the Retro Color Gigan Movie Monster Series figure. While cool, don't get me wrong, I feel like we got more of Hedorah for Gigan's anniversary than we did Gigan. And what's even funnier is we're getting more Hedorah next year. More on that later. Yeah, I would love like a fully painted version of Megalon from the Movie Monster Series as a Godzilla store exclusive, because that just seems to be like the normal thing with these super and better painted versions of figures, excluding Varan. I would like to see that for both Megalon and Jet Jaguar. Obviously, SH Monster Arts releases of Showa, Jet, and Megalon would be really, really cool. If they're not $200 with no accessories, I would definitely look into getting those, since I'm kind of opening my heart up to SH Monster Arts a little bit more. Ooh, we have more to talk about with that in a bit. But yes, I am very much curious to see what kind of merchandising we'll be getting out of the Megalon and Jet Jaguar 50th anniversary celebration, and I hope it's more than Gigan. Yeah. And next we have the FUNKO Burning Godzilla. Probably not going to be picking it up. I know quite a few people actually pitched a tent about it saying GVK on the box instead of KOTM, and I don't know why that was done, but seeing as how we didn't have anything Funko related from Godzilla KOTM, that might actually play into why it says GVK on there. So I don't know. Maybe I'll get it. I'm not sure. I spent, I think, $175 on Godzilla Day. Give me a break. The 5th Movie Monster Series 06 mold Hedorah repaint we are going to be getting. It is playfully titled Choco Hedorah because it looks like a chocolate sundae, and yeah, I'm getting it. I already have it ordered. Yeah, I'll do a video on it. You guys don't care. We can move on. I like how it looks. I'm a Hedorah stan. Give me a break. Okay, SH Monster Arts Showa Gigan. Fuck. That thing looks amazing, but just a promo. It's just a prototype, honestly. I ain't getting my hopes up. I'll try. But in all seriousness, every picture I have seen of that thing is immaculate. It looks amazing. I am hoping and praying it looks that good by the time it finally releases. And now we can talk about the night color version of Shin Godzilla, which I wasn't originally going to say anything, but here's how it went with me. I saw the promo pictures and I was like, oh, okay, all right, I see what's going on here. But I decided not to move on it because I remember what happened last time. That happened. I was fully content with just getting Ava Unit 1 with the new paint and the Spear of Cassius, something like that. And with getting Shin Kamen Rider. Well, unfortunately, I still have to be hunting for a Shin Kamen Rider from SH Figuarts, but it's gonna happen. It definitely is. Then I saw these pictures pop up. I don't see the improvement whatsoever. I mean, it definitely looks better than the original and the reissue, but honestly, it's not by much. I know it's known as the Night Illumination version, but I'm sorry, everybody. I'm not seeing what all y'all are seeing. I really don't think it's that much of an improvement. I'm not even sure if that head is all new like a lot of people are saying. I mean, I'm sure. Okay, I'll give it to you here. Looking at these two pictures side by side, maybe that head is different. Maybe it's just the angle of my picture versus that picture, but maybe it's just the paint, or I don't know. But I'm going to retract that statement about the head because I think I can see what people are getting at now. When the reviews come out, I'm sure Steven or somebody will have a review of that. They'll put all of that questioning to rest, or when we get in hands and everything, but I'm just not seeing it. I'm not really seeing much of an improvement. The teeth look better, sure, but when it comes to the overall paint, it looks like a bloody mess. And yeah, Shin Godzilla is supposed to look like a bloody mess, but how hard is it to do what NECA did with a $25 figure? Flat black, red. That's all you gotta do. It just looks like a mess to me, and that's just me. I am not shaming anybody for getting this. For the people who are getting this, I will say this. I hope and pray that that figure is amazing. I hope it's the second coming of Christ. But I guess in this guy's case, it would be the third, since this is the third time they did like a normal base Shin Godzilla figure, right? I hope it's the best figure that SH Monster Arts has ever released. I hope it is so very much on point. I do not want to be right in this case because I know a lot of people out there pre-ordered it and are so excited for it to come in. I am truly rooting for you. I want it to be your first SH Monster Monster Art Shin Godzilla. I know that's a lot for some, and I want it to be the best one you could get. I am not in any way saying if you got the figure, you're a moron or anything like that. Just, in my personal opinion, doesn't really look that much better. That's it. And up next, we have the Soul of Chogokin KIRYU. I'm not sure if this is a new figure, because I think they've done a KIRYU before. I'm not sure which, or if it was this exact one, but whether this is brand new or if it's an updated version, it looks amazing, man. And apparently it's going to be bigger than the SH Monster Arts version. I've never bought a Soul of Chogokin figure ever in my entire collecting career. And if the thing is at a manageable price, not over, let's say, 110 or something to that extent, I'm perfectly fine with picking that up. I would love to make KIRYU my very first Soul of Chogokin figure. And apparently it's going to have LED eyes and in the streaks, I think. I'll be sure to correct myself if that's not the case. It looks like a beautiful, magnificent dream of a figure. And if I end up getting that, I have no need to buy any other articulated KIRYU figure ever, unless Super 7 does it. But we'll see how those turn out. Hopefully soon. Godzilla and Biollante should be shipping out like next month, hopefully. But yeah, that Soul of Chogokin KIRYU, beautiful. So far. I know Soul of Chogokin has a much better track record than SH Monster Arts does, but just know I'm interested and I'm very much considering it if I can afford it, because February and March, oh boy. And now, one of the bigger announcements that came about from Godzilla Day was the reissuing of the movie monster series Godzilla 1984. Yeah, it's from the Memorial Box, 50th Anniversary Memorial Box, I know, but half of those figures are essentially movie monster series figures given the time that they were released. Even though I have the Memorial Box version now, of course I had to toss a pre-order in there because this one's going to be tagged, I assume. And I would love to have a tagged version of 1984, and who knows what this thing existence means. If this thing sells well, maybe Toho will be a little bit more open to more obscured molds from the movie monster series, like 62, 67, 55. Like, we don't need another Memorial Box. We really don't, because at this point we know that thing is going to be critical mass priced. With everything they could include with that, it'll probably be the size of, it'll probably be as tall as I am. Maybe, I don't know. Yeah, I don't think a Memorial Box is very much needed at this point. I mean, especially when we can go to the Godzilla store, use the Bai extension, or a proxy site of our choice. We can get all of that fairly easily. Not cheap, for the most part-ish. I wouldn't look at a Memorial Box and say, yeah, I got this for a cheap, cheap price. Although I was close once. Louis Duran, you lucky duck. So yeah. Movie Monster Series Godzilla 1984, so glad it's finally happened, and I hope that this means more than it probably does. More obscure monsters and designs for the Movie Monster Series, please. With that being said, Movie Monster Series Varan. It'll be showing up eventually, I assume, and I mean, if you follow me on Twitter, you already know how I feel about this. It's a I'm sorry. It's like, detail-wise, of course, Bandai. Perfect. But Bandai is capable of more than that. Honestly, I mean, like a little bit of yellow dry brushing on his shell or a little bit of shading somewhere. A little bit more effort would have been nice, even if it's not screen accurate. Varan deserved more. He went through pole hell against Super Mechagodzilla for months. The dude deserved a fully completed paint job, or at least painting the spikes all the way to the tip of the tail. I'd be a little bit less disgruntled if you just did that, but you didn't. But we'll reserve judgment for that when the figure finally shows up. And now we have to talk about the Godzilla and Gigan Rex movie monster series figures. Of course, I did absolutely purchase them. 4,000 plus yen for each though. Oh man, I think I spent 72 bucks on those two together. And I mean, Gigan Rex, when I look at all the pictures, the whole turnabout, beautiful. Could have used a little bit more? Absolutely. But Godzilla though, it's not my favorite design in the world. But Bandai, what in the fuck? Like, the dorsal fins? You're not painting full rows of dorsal fins anymore? Huh? Why is this man two-tone gray and silver? You're not gonna do a little bit more with that? This nice exclusive figure, this new Godzilla design? How is this guy not getting the same treatment Ride Goji did? One of the best movie monster series figures of the last 10 years plus. I'll definitely be pitching a tent about that in the review, but I'll try and not go Daimajin levels of bitching and moaning about it. Now, the final thing was brought to my attention through my friend Jordan through a stream that Ultrazilla did. Apparently, on the Chinese Godzilla store website, this exists. An all opaque white Shin Godzilla figure. Now, you all know I don't have all the movie monster series Shin Godzilla variants, but it is my friggin' channel goal, next to having one of every Godzilla design in vinyl movie monster series format, to have all of the Shin Godzilla variants. And I don't understand why this is a thing. And if this is something that I'm going to have to start worrying about, I think I might develop an arrhythmic heartbeat or something like that, because this is too much. Yeah. I've bought a lot of ridiculous Shin Godzilla things that I will never use in my regular day-to-day life. It's kind of who I am at this point. But a white movie monster series Shin Godzilla. It's kind of like that glow-in-the-dark movie monster series Shin Ultraman that I had no idea where it came from, but also according to Jordan, apparently that was a Japan HMV exclusive. It's just, we never saw anything official about it. It kind of just, there it is, in the world. So I don't know how I'm going to go about getting that, or if I'm even going to try, because apparently the Chinese Godzilla store isn't even accessible unless you have a VPN, maybe? If anybody knows, hey yo, let me know. I mean, even if I have to go about hitting up Ned Chang and sending him money for shipping in the figure, I might just end up doing that because I'm a Shin Godzilla loser. I like movie monster series vinyl Shin Godzilla stuff. Anyway, the final thing to talk about here was the announcement of a brand new Toho-made Godzilla movie, rumored to be titled Godzilla Zero. Now, I'm actually glad I waited to make this video, because now I can talk about the 4chan leak that was going on, and I'll say this right now, don't believe a single word of that. I mean, for one, it's coming out of 4chan. That's a boulder of salt, honestly. But everything that was just kind of being mentioned there just sounded like really bad fan fiction. My personal hopes and predictions for Godzilla 2023, G23, Godzilla Zero, or possibly, if that 4chan leak is friggin' real, Godzilla 54 with extra story missions DLC. Please God, no. I hope the design is entirely fresh, because the lad who's directing this has done stuff with Godzilla in the past. He was in that 3 seconds of Always Sometimes Sunny name movie here. He did that with a fully CGI Godzilla, and then he did the Godzilla vs. Ghidorah, Godzilla Ride thing, and those were both really cool designs, and I like them as those set things. I don't share the same mindset as a bunch of people who want, the Ride Godzilla to be, in the next movie. I feel like that should just stay its own thing. That's all I would really like to see it as, because, this is a wholly new Godzilla iteration, and it would feel weird if it was just Ride Goji. I don't know. When you say new Godzilla movie from Toho, I'm expecting new design, new roar, hopefully a wholly new score, which after all these years is probably the one thing that I can be critical of with Shin Godzilla, is just that you could have re-recorded some of these things. You're Shiro Sagisu. It's not like you're not a well-known composer. You have clout. What you doing? Anyway, entirely new and fresh design, entirely new and fresh roar, sound design, the whole 9 yards with that. A new score, and I said it on Twitter. I would much rather, if this actually is a one-off, I would much rather this be an extremely strong standalone film than be the kickoff to yet another cinematic universe. We have the Monsterverse. I think Toho is more so content with the Monsterverse at this point, and they just want to try and do new things, and I think that's what they need to keep on doing. Shin Godzilla, weird. Singular Point, even weirder. If they want to push the envelope for an even weirder Godzilla movie, I support that. But yeah, we don't know much. It'll be taking place in the 40s. It'll be post-World War II. That's all we really know aside from the director. We don't know who's scoring it. We don't know who's starring in it. I think there's a lot left up to interpretation, but just know that I'm really excited for it. I'm curious to see what Toho has up their sleeves, and maybe after that movie comes out, we'll learn what's going on with Singular Point Season 2, if at all, and I guess we'll just have to wait and see what happens with the MonsterVerse. Like, if it's going to continue after a certain amount of time, or if they're working on closing it up, or I don't know. I'm spitballing here. I'm not saying that's what I want to happen to the MonsterVerse. Please don't take me out of context. But I'm excited for this new Godzilla movie. I'm not going to try and guess what it's about because, I mean... Post-World War II Japan. Gee, I fucking wonder. I hope it's cool. I hope it's weird. I hope it's Godzilla. That's all I can really say. And I have been ShinRobjira. I do so hope you enjoyed this 30-plus minute long lightning round discussion on all that's gone down on Godzilla Day. I didn't want to talk about everything because a lot was announced and released and such. Let me know what you guys are most excited for, be it with figures, merch, movie, whole 9 yards. Give me your predictions for Godzilla 2023. One of my predictions is it's gonna be sad. It's gonna be sad, maybe a little terrifying, and I think it might actually be another solo Godzilla movie. Not gonna lie. I think they might do another one. Who knows? I'm not saying that's what I want. I'm just saying that's what I think. Anyway, this is the end of the video. Sorry, I'm rambling. Hope you all enjoyed. If you'd like to see more discussion-ish videos like this, please do let me know. And I will see you all at some point this week with either a scheduled video or one of the 3 new Movie Monster Series figures coming out. So until then, until later, have a happy, merry day, afternoon, and night, and I'll see you all next time. Peace. Somebody just yelled, "What the fuck?" I gotta end the video, dude.